Hello, this is Uncle Larry B, and today we're going to do a flight from Fort Myers to KSEF, which is Sebring. They have a nice little restaurant at Sebring where you can eat breakfast or lunch. So this is going to be our route from Fort Myers, KFMY, to Jocks intersection, and then to Rogan intersection, and then if they allow us to turn then over to KSEF. Sometimes they make us go a little bit north of Rogan, so we make a right angle 90-degree turn into KSEF from our route. So that's the plan right now. So hopefully you'll enjoy it. Okay, so this is how we're going to set up our flight plan. First of all, we're starting off from Fort Myers, and it's important that you have your airport of origin on your flight plan in case you have engine trouble or something and you have to come back in. You can easily select an approach. So our first waypoint is going to be Jocks. So we'll select waypoint JOCKS, Jocks, and we'll enter it. And now we're going to add another waypoint, and that's going to be Rogan, ROGAN. And when you're adding these waypoints, you can look up here under the word Rogan and make sure that it's in the Southeast USA, because you could accidentally type in the wrong letter and have a waypoint that's in another country. So we'll hit enter. And now the last waypoint is going to be the airport of Sebring, whoops, that's not right. We'll backspace. KSEF. And you'll see here under KSEF it says Sebring Regional. So we know that's correct, so we'll enter it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at our flight plan, and we see that we have KSEF in there with all of our waypoints. So we can hit menu down here, and we can choose preview, and now we can see our route. So we can see if our computer agrees with the route that we think we're going to fly. This is important to do because if you accidentally hit a wrong letter for a waypoint, it could be way out of the way. So using this preview function is very important on the GTN 750. Okay, so we'll go back now. And what we're going to do next is we're going to set our, we're going to pick up the atis information on radio number 2. So we do not have radio number 2 shown here. So what we're going to do is pick it up on radio number 2. And the atis information says that we're going to be taking off from runway 5. And it says the winds are 090 at 15, gusting to 20. So we know runway 5 is going to be our best choice of a runway. So now we click off the atis and we contact ground control. So we say, page ground, this is Twin Cessna November 8571 Golf. We'd like to fly today to Sebring. Our route, intended route, is Jocks, Rogan to Sebring at 5,000 feet. And if we've already filed the flight plan, he'll already know that information. And if we're going VFR, we could just ask for flight following. So I like to ask for IFR whenever possible, simply because it makes more sense to have air traffic control watch out for other aircraft, because I am very skittish about mid-air collisions, because you only get one. Okay, so the ground frequency is 121.9. So we're going to taxi out on radio number 2, ground frequency 121.9. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit our map, and we can zoom in here on page field, and we can see that to go from where we're at to runway 9, we go out taxiway Bravo, and then we turn on Alpha, and we go all the way down Alpha to the end here, and we can either choose Alpha 2 or Alpha 1, and I was always taught to use the farthest length of runway that you can use, so always use the entire runway. So we'll go and we'll hold short at Alpha 1 here. Okay, so we're going up the runway holding short of Alpha 1, and we get to the hold short point here at Alpha 1, and now I switch over to the tower. So the tower is on standby 119.0, so I just click the top button, that switches him over. So now if he wants to contact me while I'm doing my run-up or something, he can contact me while I'm sitting here at Alpha 1. So we do our run-up and we're ready for takeoff. Well, unfortunately, on this simulation, the aircraft is clear out here, and I do not know quite how to move the aircraft. So we'll assume that we're back here at the beginning of runway 5, and we're going to assume that we're going to use the whole length, take off on runway 5, and then as you can see, our route is almost straight north. So when we come off runway 5 right here, they're going to tell us to go over to departure, and then they're going to give us a northbound turn, and then they'll probably let us catch up to our route by giving us a little bit of a northeast turn. So that's our plan for right now. So we'll contact the tower, and they say, November 8571 Golf, you're cleared for takeoff. So what we're going to do is we are going to get ready to take off, and we're going to start our flight. So we'll zoom back in a little bit so we're back by Page Field, and you'll see us be able to take off here. So stand by, here we go. Okay, so let me readjust this a little bit so we get our GTN 750 on the left, and we get our G500-600 on the, the GTN 750 on the right. We get our GT 750 on the right and the G500-600 on the left. So as you look over here, we have synthetic vision. We have our HSI here. We're going to have our CDI on GPS because we're going to use GPS. Now right over here it says CDI at the bottom of the compass rose and the HSI. You click that once, and that's for ILS and VOR approaches, it's localizer. And you click it again and it turns magenta or pink for GPS. So localizer, ILS or VOR approaches is going to be green, and it's going to say localizer right up here, about halfway down on the left. It's going to say localizer here, and it's going to say all in green, localizer. So we hit it again, it turns magenta, it says GPS here, and it says GPS up here. So our airspeed is going to be here on our left, our altitude is going to be on our right. So basically, we're going to take off right now, and we're going to choose a heading of 050. So we'll hit the heading bug, and we'll hit the heading. So we'll do 05, it's actually 054, so we'll do heading 054. And we're going to take off. So we're going to give the Garmin autopilot down here in the bottom right, we're going to give that a little airspeed. So we're going to just hit heading right now, fly heading. So we'll give it about 127 knots airspeed. And you can see on the synthetic vision on the far left, and you can see with this red line on the airspeed on the left, we're below stall speed. So once we get above stall speed, it will be red. So 80, that red line here, 80 is our minimum controllable airspeed. So we want to get above 0 feet. So let's go up to about 1,000 feet, 1,100 feet. and we'll contact Fort Myers departure, so which is 126.8. So look over here on the GTN 750. We contact Fort Myers departure. We say, Fort Myers departure, this is Twin Cessna 8571 Golf. We've just taken off at Page Field. We're at 1,000 feet and we're headed to Sebring. And he'll say, Roger, we'll turn left to heading, he'll say, turn left to heading 008. So we'll hit our heading bug right here, and we're going to change the heading to 008 degrees. Okay, so that's going to bring us back over towards the heading we want to be on. And you're going to see here on the synthetic vision, you can see us turn. And this little round symbol is called the course flight. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it tells you the direction your airplane's actually headed. So you may think it's headed this way, but because of the wind, it may be headed over this way. So this tells you your course, any course deviation. So we're headed to 008 degrees. And let's see where our plane is here on the chart. That's a reasonable speed. So he told us to maintain 2,000 feet. So we're going to click over here on the altitude button, and we're going to click altitude, and we're going to do 2,000 feet. So we enter that, and that comes up here on the top, altitude of 2,000 feet. Now we got to click how we're going to get there on the STEC 3100. And the airplane won't go up or down to your new altitude until you tell it how do you want to get there. So we'll hit either vertical speed or rate of climb. So we'll hit basically 500 or 600 feet per minute climb, and we'll go up at 500 or 600 feet per minute, which is reasonable. It's acceptable to the FAA. And so we're going to go up to 2,000 feet here. On this demonstration, I have to adjust it because this has the Garmin autopilot. It does not have the STEC autopilot. So we're climbing to 2,000 feet, and you can tell where we're going. We are on our way to Jock's intersection, and that is in magenta down here on the bottom of the G500-600. You can see white is FMY, that's what we just left. The magenta is what we're going toward, and the next one is our following waypoint. And it works the same pretty much over here in that you see where you've been in white on the GTN 750, where you're going in magenta or pink, and the destination next waypoint after that in white. So you can see our plane here, and we're headed out in a heading of about 007 degrees. And that's going to make us not quite get to our waypoint. So our course is over here. So let's turn to the right about 350 to get over to our course. So what we do is we adjust the heading, and we turn the heading to 350. 350. We enter, and that's going to turn our heading over to 350. And there we're going to intercept our flight path to the Rogan intersection. As a matter of fact, I probably should make it a little steeper than that, but I think it's probably going to be okay. So looking over here on the GTN 750, we see towers right here, tall towers, but they're not in red, they're in yellow, so we're above them, so we're okay. If they were in red, then they would be we'd be within a couple hundred feet of them, and we would be in danger of hitting them. We also see the black boxes, which is traffic. So this guy, plus he's 1,200 feet above us, this person is 2,400 feet above us. This person is 800 feet above us. And if they're below us, you'll get a negative sign. Now, if you see a traffic alert, you can actually go to traffic. So what we can do is we can go, and you can go to traffic on either one of these, on the GTN 750 or on the G500-600. So let's just for a second, we'll go to traffic on here. So we'll hit the home page, we'll hit traffic. So this is what you see. This is our plane right here, this triangle. We're in a 2 nautical mile circle. So we'll take that, we'll go out some. So this is a 6 nautical mile, the outer ring, 2 nautical miles, the inner ring. So that's about where I like to be. So this person is behind us and they're 800 feet above us. This one's 800 feet above us. Generally speaking, if they're a danger to you, you'll hear traffic alert. And on the G500-600, they'll turn into a yellow dot. But let's turn this to traffic also. So we got traffic on both of them. And we'll turn this 2 mile ring into a 6 mile ring. So let's do menu. And let's go, we can have the vector duration where it shows the vector of the other plane. We have our ADS-B. We have ADS-B in and out on this plane. The motion vector, and we can have the TCAS mode operating, and we can have the altitude filter, and that's on normal, so that doesn't show traffic 20,000 feet above us. So we only need to show traffic that's relatively close to us. So this guy was 2,500 feet. Here you can see him on the ring. So now I've made this a 2 mile ring and a 4 mile ring. This is a 2 mile ring and a 6 mile ring. So I think I can make this into a 6 mile ring. There we go. Now they match each other. 2 mile ring and a 6 mile ring. So now we're going to go back to our course. So we see we've already flown through the course. So let's head our heading back to about a course of about 15 degrees. 015, enter. So we'll get back on our course. And we're still at 2,000 feet. So now he says you're cleared to 5,000 feet. So we click up here where our altitude thing is, or you can turn a knob to go to altitude down here. But for these purposes, we'll just click altitude here and we'll go 5,000, enter. So now we're going up to 5,000 feet. And for the STEC 3100, it's not going to climb or descend until you tell it how you want to get there. So I'm going to say rate of climb. So we're going to keep it about 500 or 600, maybe 700 feet per minute. So we're going to go up to about 5,000 feet here. So we're going to slowly go back to 5,000 feet. You can see I screwed up here during all my talking because we've missed Jock's intersection. But once we get back here, we're going to get turned back on course. And you can see from the HSI, we're to the left of course because our actual course is over here to the right. So now it assumes we've passed Jock's, and the next area that is our next waypoint has turned magenta, so it's Rogan over here on the G500-600, and it has turned magenta over here too. Let me just get out of this for a second. So we can see we got a lot more traffic around us. This guy's 400 feet below us, 2,400 feet above us, 1,000 feet below us. So you'll see the traffic all over the place. If it's a white diamond like this one, he's only 200 feet below us. So the black diamond turns into a white diamond if it's going to be a danger to you. So we'll always look for white diamonds. You can look for the black diamonds too, but you always want to look for white diamonds. Okay, so I want to turn to a course of 358 right now. So we're going to go over here and we're going to hit heading, and we're going to do 358, which should put us on a course to Rogan. So we haven't got very far to go to Rogan. So we're headed to our next waypoint, Rogan, which of course is magenta on the left, the bottom left of the G500-600. The course to the next intersection is in magenta or pink. So we can see we can go a little bit more to the left. Let's go 354. Let's do 352 degrees. That'll turn us a little bit. So, and you can see over here on the GTN 750, the next waypoint we're going toward is in magenta. The course is in magenta. And now you see this curvilinear line on the GTN 750. That's when we will be at our selected altitude. So if they tell you to be at a certain altitude before a waypoint, you can just adjust it. And this curvilinear line here in the center of the picture will tell you when you're going to be at your next altitude. So you automatically know if you're going to have to climb faster or descend faster. So that's basically, oh, here's a traffic alert. It's in yellow. So it's 300 feet. So he's pretty close to us. He's in front of us still. So that was a traffic alert. It was in yellow. And he's going in front of us. So I'll put it back, put this back on traffic here for a second. And so we'll take a look at him. So he's out of our way now. And he's still yellow. So he was a theoretical danger. So let's go back to our map. Okay, so we're coming up on the Rogan intersection. Okay, we're coming up on Rogan right now. And at Rogan, as you can see, we're going to make a right turn and head into the Sebring Airport. So we're going to turn right to 073 degrees. And now let's go to the place where we can find out what the information is for Sebring. So we'll go to waypoint info, or we could go and just click on SEF. If we click on KSEF, we can do waypoint info there. We can go to frequencies. So the atis frequency is 120.57. We'll put that in radio number 2. The ground frequency is 122.7 is Unicom, so that's going to be the airborne frequency and the ground frequency. So we'll put both of these in the number 2 radio. Actually, we'll put 122.7 into the top radio. We've just been told to transfer over to Tampa approach, so we're at 119.9. And now we're going to put in our new 122.2, was it? I don't know, let's see. It was 122.7. Uh-oh, so let's change it again. 122.7. And we'll enter it. Again, if we wanted to put it in the top thing, we would press transfer, and that would put it in the top column of the active comm radio. Since we're not going to use it right this second, we're just going to hit enter, and that puts it in the standby. And you can see below the 122.7, it says KSEF Unicom. Okay, so we're good to go there. So we'll go back to our map page. And now that we're on our way in, we got to choose an approach. So they're using runway 1. So now what do? Okay, we go back to here. We do flight plan. We do KSEF. And we do load procedure. So our approach is going to be the runway 1 RNAV. We could do a visual one, but we'll do a runway 1 RNAV. And let's see what the transition is. Let's go fossil as our transition point, and we'll load the approach. So the approach is now loaded. So we're going to head toward fossil. So what I can do right now is, since the approach is loaded, we're going to be heading right straight toward fossil, which is up here. So you look at the magenta line, and we believe we're going toward fossil. So let's look down at the bottom here. So fossil is in magenta, so that means we are going direct to fossil. And we look over at the G500-600, direct fossil. And our waypoint after that is Embrew on the way in. So we're at 5,000, so let's go down to 3,000 right now. So we'll select 3000, enter, and we'll go down to 3,000. So we're down to about 3,000. Okay, we're still headed toward fossil, and now they're telling us to go down to 2,000 feet. So we'll go over here and we'll click the altitude on the G500-600 where it says 3,000 up near the top here. We'll click that and we'll make it at 2,000. Okay, so we made that 2,000. And then on the STAC 3100, it won't go down to 2,000. It won't go to any new altitude at all until you tell it how you want it to get there. So you can say either vertical speed or rate of climb. So we'll do rate of climb, and I would put in like 500 feet per minute. So we're going down to 2,000 feet. So before we get to fossil, let's look at the chart. So let's go back here. We'll look at the chart for a second, and we'll look at this approach. We'll put it on full screen. Here's the full thing. So we're going to be coming in here to fossil at 2,000 feet. Here's our airplane over here on the left. Coming into fossil, we're going to then at Embrew, we're going to make a sharp left turn. We could do the procedure turn outbound and then turn in, but since it's not a very busy day, we're just going to go fossil to Embrew to Palm and then inbound to land. So that's going to be our thing. So 2,000 feet at fossil, and we stay at 2,000 feet at Embrew, and we go down to 1,700 feet, and the Maltese cross means that's the final approach fix, and the jagged arrow means that's where we catch our glide slope. So 1,700 feet at Pompum. So let's do that. So we're still coming into fossil, and I have these both configured so that the map shows up on the screen. You can change that so the map doesn't show up on the screen if you think it's too cluttered. You can just go to menu here, and then you can do charts, and you can take the chart off the screen. So now we don't have the chart on the screen. Now we just have the approach. So we can leave the chart on the G500-600 and not have the chart on the GTN 750. Or if you're the kind of person that loves the chart, you can go back to menu, hit chart, and this green line will light up, and now we've got a chart on there. So it all depends on whether you love charts or you don't like them that much. A lot of people like to keep one screen uncluttered and then on the other screen have the chart. Let's keep this screen uncluttered. We'll take the charts off it. So we can see fossil, and we know we're going to make a left-hand turn at fossil because we're not going to do the procedure turn. So that sounds like a plan, huh? Okay, we're going 185. Let's lower down to about 120. I guess 115 would be good. So we'll slow her down to 115. And now you see down here it says left turn to 096 in 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, boom. So now we're going to turn left to 096 degrees. So you'll see the plane starting to turn left because our autopilot is on nav. So we're just passing Fossil and we're going to Embrew. So you can see Fossil is in white down here in the bottom of the GTN 750 and Embrew is in magenta. Also, our line to Embrew is in magenta and Embrew is in magenta up here. And we're not going to do this procedure turn. So we just passed our transition point of Fossil and now we're going to be on the real approach. I hope all my nieces and nephews out there are having as much fun as Uncle Larry B is. I'm just ecstatic about this. So in a second, rather than do the whole procedure turn, we're going to turn left. And there's a setting on here that it will ask you, do you want to do the procedure turn? And you say no, or you say yes, either one. So, and we're just going to go over Lake Placid. It's on our right up ahead. You see Lake Placid. That's the lake where in the movie there was a giant alligator about 50 feet long that killed people and got into their houses and ate them alive. Of course, it was just a movie, but in case you ever wondered where Lake Placid is, that's it. Just south of Sebring. Okay, now we're getting a message down here in the bottom right corner of the GTN 750, left to 006 in 3, 2, 1 second. Boom. So now we're going to start a left turn to 006 degrees. And you can see up here in the top left corner, our direct track is 006. And our speed is 115 knots in the bottom left corner of the GTN 750. And our distance to Popham is 5.7 nautical miles. So we're on our way in. We know we want to go down to 1,700 feet. So we're going to go back over here to the G500-600 and click on that 2,000 and make it 1,700. 1700, we're going to enter it. And now we're going to tell the STAC 3100, how do we want to get to 1700? Vertical speed or airspeed. So we'll choose feet per minute, vertical speed, and we'll go down to 500 feet per minute. So on this Garmin, or on this simulator, we just have to press down to go to 1700 feet. So we're at 1700. And you see that curvilinear line that tells you exactly when we will hit 1,700 feet. If you're on a trip and they give you a altitude to cross 10 miles south of Lakeland at 4,000 feet, for example, you can very easily do that. There's no issue whatsoever with this equipment. Okay, so we're inbound. I'm going to hit glide slope, so this will catch the glide slope once we get to it. So on the Garmin, you hit GS for glide slope. On the STAC 3100, you hit the A for approach. So once you're headed inbound, you go from nav to approach on the STAC 3100. It works very, very well. We flew yesterday and it worked flawlessly. So the STAC 3100 is very good, but good luck getting a hold of anybody at the company. You talk to a computer and it's almost impossible to talk to a human being. So that's a consideration you should make when you're getting an autopilot. The STAC is great, but if you have any issues with it, I don't think they're very customer friendly. You got to talk to the people who actually installed your autopilot. And in my case, we had it installed at Tomlinson Aviation in Fort Myers, which is a wonderful place. And I give a call out to Tomlinson Aviation. They did a wonderful job, and I'm very happy with the work they did. Okay, we're going to start catching the glide slope here in a second. So you can see over here on the G500-600, our altitude is going down. And the glide slope on this, the localizer, you look at the HSI over here. And for the glide slope, you look at this magenta diamond. So we're just about on the glide slope. We're maybe just a tick low here. But this is the glide slope over here on the left panel of the G500-600. In my plane, I actually have it switched. So this panel is over on this side. I like it better that way. So we're on the glide slope and we're on the localizer. So we're doing good. So up and down, we're looking good, and left and right, we're looking good. And you can tell this is the GPS LPV approach because it says it right here. And you look down here and this CDI button, you hit that, it changes, and we're on GPS. That's what we want to be on for a GPS approach. So we're coming down, down, down. We'll be at the runway soon. And if you want to, look up in the upper left corner of the G500-600, and this is a synthetic vision. So even if you're totally in the clouds at this point, you're still going to see the runway out there. And that's kind of a nice feature. I haven't paid an awful lot of attention to that because you're busy flying the plane. But it's nice to kind of know that the runway is out there. Now that the glide slope is captured, the missed approach procedure may be 2,000 feet. So we can go up here and we can change this to 2,000 feet now.
500.
And the plane won't do anything until we tell it how to get there. So it's safe to put in the 2,000 feet when we're on the glide slope because the airplane the autopilot is only paying attention to the glide slope. So we're coming in, we're going to slow down just a hair once we get over the airport property. My approach speed is about 120, and I like to be about 110 to 100 over the fence. So that's a term that most pilots will understand, over the fence. So we're over the runway right now, and right here, activate GPS if you want to go on missed approach, and then the left side button if you're going to land. So we're going to land, so we either don't touch anything or we just land. So basically we are now pretty much stopped. Let's get us down to the ground. Boom. Okay, so we've made it to Sebring. So that's basically our flight to Sebring.